Space Talks, Mind Mastery. And we're going to talk about mind and gut health part 2. And thank you for the comments below. We ask you to put your comments, questions, or anything right below there. Share, like, tell everyone that we're over here doing some great things. We have great information for you. And as we always say, if we say anything that, sounds familiar or you feel familiar, go see your doctor. And if you need to talk to one of us, you can always email us at safespacetalks@gmail.com. Also, guess what's happening Saturday on July 22nd?
Whoop,
We
whoop.
are going to be live in New York.
Yes.
Yes. So, guys, unfortunately, all the seats have been occupied. We have a full house. So, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody, for participating. And listen, stick with us. We're going to be in Virginia next. Woo, woo. So,
Whoop,
if you're in
whoop.
Virginia, prepare your hearts and minds to come out and see us. All right. So we're going to continue on about mind and gut health because there's just really so much, and so many of you guys are so interested on that connection. And so we talked about last week the neuropod cells that's in your gut that sends all the messages out. We talked about the vagus nerve. Remember, not Las Vegas, but the vagus nerve that sends messages all through the body and is connected to, like, when you taste something and it will remember that you liked it, like chocolate or you know um, asparagus, whatever, hamburgers, french fries. Okay, I'm a little hungry. So we talked also about the microbiome, and everything is connected to the human digestive tract, okay, which is associated to everything I just said. What goes in your mouth and it goes out your other end. So, we have to be clear. Now, what we want you to understand is that you have to take care of your gut, right?
Mhm.
And we did say it's not your stomach, but there's still the association. And so today we're going to further on give you tools and language and ideas and ways you can better help your gut. I told you last week, I told my gut brain to tell my brain up here, that we needed a six pack. And I just want y'all to know it's
Right.
working. No, I'm like working out and stuff. So my gut brain heard me. So, so without further ado, we're gonna talk about metabolisms, the nutrients, and everything that will go to help you better your gut so you don't have that big belly hanging all out and stuff like that. So, Dr. Latoya, I'm passing the mic to you.
I'm glad you are. Oh my
Oh
goodness.
man.
Good
Go ahead.
afternoon,
Switch us out. Switch
everybody.
us
Good
out.
evening, good morning. I'm glad Nigeria's stomach and everything is paying attention and listening
Lining
to
up.
what she's saying because
It's
mine is
lining up.
not. Maybe I didn't tell it enough. But anyway, thank you for joining us at Safe Space Talks. And we are excited that you're here with us again, talking about the gut and the mind connection.
Yeah.
And so this is a topic that has definitely gained a lot of interest. And so we just wanted to expound on it a little bit more. And so remember, the gut health and stress, right, have a bi-directional type of kind of relationship, right? So that means the gut health affects stress, and then stress affects the gut health. And so, and the gut health or microbiome, remember we talked about that, right? That environment of uh, bacteria and fungi and other stuff that's in our gut, the healthy stuff. It can affect our mood and stress as well. And so the stress can affect the type of bacteria and the amount of bacteria that's in our gut. And so most people have experienced how negative emotions and stress can disturb your gut motility. So, for
Mm.
example, when you are stressed out about something, you can instantly feel sick to your stomach.
That's
If
good.
something bad happens, right, you instantly feel it
That's
in your
good.
stomach. So I'll give an example. This just happened yesterday. I had to call my girls and tell them. Um, we're selling our house, right? And I'm at work, seeing patients, doing what I do, minding my own business, and I get a text and call 911, call right now. So I call home, and I found out that one of the ladies that was looking at the house, fell on my patio.
Mm,
And then, okay, they found a snake at the door while they're showing the house. So immediately
yeah.
my stomach dropped through the floor. Okay. I felt it. It was like bloop. And so immediately I
Blue.
began to feel the stress, right? The effects of
Mm,
that stress in my stomach. And I'm telling you, my stomach was upset for the rest of the day.
mm,
Rest of the day until that evening, and I got in the car and I had some Jesus time and I prayed and I was just like, no, we're not going to do this.
right.
And so I took authority over it. But had I not, I probably would still be having an upset stomach to this day. And so stress definitely affects our microbiome, it affects our stomach. So remember, we talked about the gut and brain axis, right? So it's not just relevant in that transient state, right? Just that acute stress that I had yesterday, but also for longer lasting conditions. And so we know that there is a direct connection between people who have like mood disorders and who have other GI disorders like
Yeah.
IBS, right? It's common. People who have anxiety disorder can have IBS, or they can have some type of acid reflux. So they're always going to the
Yes.
doctor
Yeah.
about their stomach. And then guess what? They go to the doctor, they get all these images done, they get all these labs done, they can't find anything. Or sometimes they do. Sometimes they find ulcers and things like that. But most of the time, they can't find anything. And what they do, they send you back to your psychiatrist and they tell you it's all in your head. And
Mm,
a part of it is true, but I wouldn't say it's not all in your head. But a part of it is in your head, and a part of it is in your gut. And remember, we talked about the gut being the second brain.
that's
And
it.
so, because it's a biodirectional communication network, right? Our brain, when it's stressed out, sends those stress signals to our stomach. And when the brain sends those distress signals to our stomach, then it affects the bacteria and the environment in our stomach. And so what begins to happen is our gut becomes permeable. So that means bacteria leak outside of our gut. And so
Mm,
then as the bacteria leaks inside of our gut, that bacteria causes other inflammation in our entire body. And
right.
so then you start experiencing pain everywhere. People start having flare ups. If people have any autoimmune diseases, it will flare up. And so gut health is so important, not just for mental health, but for overall health. Because if your gut is not right, chances are the rest of your body is out of balance as well. And so this is the reason why we wanted to talk about this, because we talk about the whole person, and we want you guys to understand that everything, when they say you are what you eat,
Come on
you are
now.
what you eat and you are what you think. And so it goes hand in
That's good.
hand. And so you have to be be cognizant of what you are putting inside of your body, because it's not just about the instant gratification of that food. It will affect you long term in other areas of your body.
That's
And did
good.
you know that those stress signals will impact the prefrontal cortex, right? It'll impact the executive functioning of your brain, and your brain will begin to crave food that causes comfort.
Mm-hmm.
Have you noticed when you get upset, you don't crave broccoli, you don't crave a
Right.
carrot. No, you want to go straight for the ice cream, straight
Right.
for the chips,
Sugar.
straight for the cookies.
Right. Comfort
Bread. Let me
food.
make me some toast and some
Yeah.
tea. You do not. You never. Have you heard somebody say, you know what? I'm upset. I'm just gonna go get me some avocado.
Right. Right.
Because now you know your gut is connecting to your brain and it's telling your brain, you know what? Like Nigeria said, um, I remember when we had that ice cream. It was so good. It made us
Yes.
feel so good. How about you go get that ice cream because you feeling good?
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Mm-hmm.
what happens. And then you eat that ice cream and it's affecting the gut health. And it's just never ending cycle until you decide to break it.
That's it.
So, I'm gonna pass it over to Dr. Sharmy.
Well, hello everyone. Yeah, so we're talking about this whole mind and gut health part two, right? And because we understand that there is a significant amount of individuals that are dealing with mental health issues, but a lot of things also have to do with the things that we digest and consume on a day to day basis. And we don't necessarily realize the dynamics on how much food really does play a role in our mental health.
Mm-hmm.
The reason that I love talking about this subject is because when I was on my healing journey of mental wellness, for many of you, you may tune in, you may have never heard me say this before, and some of you have, so bear with me. So here's the thing: when I battle with schizophrenia, and I really battle with it at like an all-time high. Just it was just ridiculous, right? I'm just gonna tell y'all the truth because it was really paranoid schizophrenia. So it was just not that one dynamic of schizophrenia. It was like I was paranoid. I mean, like, I grew up with drug addicts around me, just what it is. And my mind constantly goes to the dynamics of individuals when they get high, right? They will go and hide, and because they were seeing things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what my schizophrenia, it really caused me to hallucinate when I was dealing with that particular
Mm-hmm.
illness, right? And the reason I would say mine is because although it's not a part of me now, it was a dynamic in my life that I did embrace for a season. And let me tell you this: many are embracing things, not understanding that there are remedies that really can really break you free and set you free from that which you are embracing,
Mm-hmm.
right? Many people would say, well, why are you saying it was yours? It's mine if I claim it. Let's talk about it. How many of us are claiming a whole lot of things that's not I mean, some people are claiming other people's husbands. That's not your husband. Some people are claiming, I mean, come on, like let's just talk about it.
Here
Like
you go. Here you go.
we
You about to get up in there.
we go around claiming a whole lot of
Name it
things that are not ours. And so I'm just saying, like, and so when you say something is yours, that's because you have embraced the idea,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? And so that ideal has become your reality. Okay. And so this is why the Bible has a lot to say about people dealing with fantasies, you guys. Like I'm telling you, people need to read their Bible because it's all up in there. I'm just gonna be real. And for my people that don't read the scripture, just pick it up and just read it like a story, because man, it will literally blast all of these other things in the water. I'm telling you, there's so much richness and truth that you will find within the scripture. And so when we're talking about this dynamic of gut health, though, you have to understand that when I was dealing with mental illness, diet was the first remedy that I had to look into and
Mm-hmm.
begin to change.
Mm-hmm.
Because just like Dr. Latoya
That's
was just
good.
talking about, how many of us crave things when we experience some type of anxiety? I mean, even when people get angry,
Mm-hmm.
okay? We can talk about all these emotional trips that we go on, and from those emotional states, we begin to crave other
Mm-hmm.
things. And for most of us, the things that we are craving was not designed for us to have. I will say that to you
Mm-hmm.
again. Many times, the things that you crave are not the things that you are designed to have, that's going to bring a sense of freedom and upbringing
Mm-hmm.
and uplifting
Yeah.
and all of these particular things that you would like to feel at the moment. Many people base their life off of feelings instead of realities.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as Safe Space Talks, we want to bring you realities and truths
Mhm.
that are going to literally set you free from the things that you may have been dealing with. And so understanding that your diet plays a big role in your mental health. This is why we are dealing with the mind and gut health, right? And this is our part two. And so this says that researchers have found that exercise also seems to lead to higher levels of particular short chain fatty acid called I think it's called butyrates. And so it says, which is produced by bacteria in the gut through the fermentation of fiber and has been linked to numerous health benefits. This is why exercise is so important. Nobody is telling you that you have to go to the gym, okay? Because many people want to limit exercise to the gym.
Right. That's good.
Yeah.
I stay in a community, and it's a lot of Indians in the area that I stay in. Okay, I mean a whole lot of Indian people, right? And in the community, right? And one thing that I know about this particular culture of people, they're always walking. Like literally, they are always walking, no matter what time of the day is. They're walking, not just them, but listen, they kids be on a walk with them. It ain't just them. Their kids actually be walking
I
with them.
love it.
So the family will go on a walk, right? And so here's the deal. One thing that we have to understand is that you can exercise just by getting out of your bed, getting out of your house, and walking your neighborhood. Well, some of you be like, well, Sharmi, I don't stay in that type of neighborhood where I can just get out and walk where I got you. All right. So listen to this one, right? So I found myself staying in those neighborhoods 2 at a time in my life. And guess what? When I could not afford to go to the gym, because there was times I couldn't afford to go to the gym, right? That ain't my testimony now, but that used to be my story. And so when I couldn't do it, I used to get up and I used to walk around my house.
That's right.
That's good.
Right? So I'm helping you to understand that there are dynamics that you can still do, because one of the things that we have to do if we really are concerned about our overall mental health, you guys, we gotta really bunk the excuses.
Right.
We gotta get rid of every excuse that we have that's not leading us to a life that's successful. Does that make sense? And so when we're talking about this whole dynamic of gut health, then you have to understand that your exercising is going to really play a big role in what your gut really acts like, right?
That's good.
Can I say this to you? Stop allowing something so simple as your gut to master you.
Come on.
Okay?
Come on.
We don't understand that things, oh God, I feel the
Come
Holy
on.
Ghost, y'all. Listen, we don't understand that the things that are on the inside of us is mastering us. So while we're so busy trying to stop everybody from the outside from telling us what to do, tell your own self what you need to do. Tell your own self that you need to work out. Tell your own self that you need to change how you eat.
Right.
Because listen, one of the things that the Lord shared with me, even as I am on my journey of wellness, we're all on our journey of wellness. So even while I am on my physical journey of wellness, you guys, one of the things the Lord said to me when I was running the other day, he said, how can you expect to be accountable to somebody else when you're not even accountable to yourself?
Right.
And so let me help you to understand. Many of you are not even accountable to self. You can't even command yourself to go exercise. You can't even command yourself to eat right. You can't even command yourself, no, I don't want that. I don't need that. Oh my God. And so something internally is mastering you. You will never be able to govern your mental health if you don't understand the tool of mastery. This is why Safe Space Talk is about mastery. We're not just here to give you good information. Yeah. We're not here to just tell you, oh, this is good or that is good. We teach you skills of mastery. This is what sets us apart.
That's so good.
All right.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
What sets us apart? Yeah. Because we understand how to master life, right? Many people will tell you, well, go do this, go do that, go. See, they're giving you coping skills.
Come
Mhm.
on.
Come
Don't
on.
do it. Don't do it. Don't
Don't
do
do
it.
it. Don't do
Don't
it.
do it.
They are giving you coping skills. But we at Safe Space Talks give you mastery
That's
skills.
good.
We teach you how to master you.
That's
I love
it.
that.
Because until you can learn how to
For
master
you.
you, you can't master anything else that's going on around you. I
Mm-mm.
promise you that.
Come on.
You're always going to find a deficiency or some type of lack in your life. And so when you think on these things, then you have to understand the dynamics why your health, your gut health is so important to your mental
That's
health.
good.
You have to understand the dynamics that they both play a role with each other, right?
Mhm.
Many of you think you are slamming and killing the game, and you can't even just practice skills on how to master you. Come on.
That part.
Mine just as raggedy.
Learn how to master the one thing that is constantly mastering
Yeah.
you, and that's yourself. Learn to master you.
Yeah.
Learn to master those inward thoughts, those inward
That's
things,
good.
those things that's telling you, well, go get that, girl. You can do this, girl. Go celebrate. Well, you don't need to celebrate yourself with no food, okay? Because as we're going to New York, I promise you, I told them, like, come on, we're going to find things to do, but we're not finding things to do around food.
Right, right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come on,
Mm-hmm.
somebody. And I'm not saying that food is not good. It is. I love to celebrate with food. But many of us need to understand that if my celebrating with food is always fried and giving me
Right,
something
right.
that's gonna log and clog me up, you don't need a soul food dinner every day of your life.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. You want soul food every single day, and it's clogging up every artery in your body.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, keep doing what you're
Yeah.
doing. But this is why you're battling with depression. This is why you're battling with anxiety. This is why you're battling with schizophrenia. This is why you're battling with bipolar. Oh, baby, I can go down all the lists,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
All of them, because all of them play a role. Your diet is the biggest role that you need to play in. Like, you want to get in the game, get
That's
your
good.
head. My
That's
God,
Mm.
good.
if you really want to get in the game, get your head in the game of health
Mm-hmm.
and wealth, meaning your mental wealth is coming from your
That's
health,
so good.
honey.
I love it.
Listen, listen. And so I'm going to drop this over to them, but let me just share this real quick. The brain has a direct effect on the stomach and intestines. For starters, the very thought of eating can release the stomach juices before
That's
foods
it.
ever
Mm-hmm.
gets there. Right? The connection is two-sided. Any change in emotion can send signals to your stomach, and
Mm-hmm.
digestive distress can cause anxiety, stress, or depression due to the chemicals and enzymes your gut
Yep.
releases. Okay, the food we consume is extremely relevant to our mental health. It should therefore come as no surprise that those with stomach problems like irritable bowel syndrome, IBS,
Mm-hmm.
and leaky gut syndrome are at much higher risk for developing mental health disorders.
Mm-hmm.
But they are not the only ones whose gut is impacting their mental health.
Mm-hmm.
We all are impacted by the chemicals and enzymes our gut produces.
Yeah.
And I'm going to turn it
Yeah.
over. Come on.
I love it. Get your head in the
In the game.
game.
I love that.
Hashtag Safe
Yeah.
Space Talks. Get your head in the game. That
Yes.
was good right there. But
I
it's
love that.
true. You know, in order to begin the process, you have to sit with yourself. Say to yourself,
Yeah.
we said before, enough is enough. I want to be healthy, right? You got to want to be, right? You have to be willing, and it's a conscious decision. That those are my favorite words. That you have to be willing, and it is a conscious decision to be better than what you're doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not saying you can't have your little piece of fried chicken. We're not saying that. We're just saying it can't just be every day.
Yeah.
You know, it
Mm-hmm.
everything in moderation. We're not saying you
Yeah.
can't have no chocolate cake and sweet potato pie. And we're not saying that. We're just saying everything in moderation. And I'm gonna give you a testimony. Thanksgiving, right? When Thanksgiving comes, we're all cooking and we're all excited and we piling our plates and we got all the desserts. And then one Thanksgiving, God asked me to fast. So I was like, on Thanksgiving, right? On Thanksgiving? He said, yeah. And so I was like, okay. And when I fast that Thanksgiving and I went upstairs and, the family's eating and "Hey, you ain't got no plate. You ain't got no plate. And, no, I'm good. I'm good. I made me a plate and I took it downstairs in my house and I was like, I'll eat it tomorrow. But it was like he just wanted me to sit back and watch all my family just be like gobbling all the food. And I sat there and I watched and the men going back for seconds and in my mind I was like, look at Thanksgiving. We have made that a eating day that we pile our plates like this is the
Mm-hmm.
last plate we gonna ever have in our whole entire life, you know, and we're eating. I mean, I have deemed it a gluttony day. Like we have just made that. Now, let me tell you something. I eat like it's a regular day. And I was part of that. So I'm confessing. I'm confessing that I was part of that. I need the blueberry turnover. I need that. Oh no, don't eat that last piece, right? No, and making plates and bringing Tupperware. Like, oh my goodness, why are we acting like that on
Yeah.
Thanksgiving? Now, I need y'all to just let that sit because that's from God. Why do you feel that Thanksgiving, because it's coming up, guys, right? I want y'all to remember this message that on Thanksgiving, Nigeria says, sit back, relax, just eat a regular plate and go on about your business. Okay, spread it
Mm-hmm.
out during the week. You ain't got to eat
Mm-hmm.
it all on Thanksgiving. It's going to be some leftovers. But my point is, can you imagine what your gut is going through when you do that? It's
Oh,
stressing your gut out. So then
yeah.
that's why sometimes you get the rhea, the diarrhea,
It's like the
Not
real Lord.
Daria.
you got stomach cramps, your stomach hurt, you opening up your pants, like, whoo,
Not Daria.
it's
Taking off girdles
right.
all time.
Can't
Can't
gotta
breathe.
sneaking in the bathroom, taking that girdle on because you about to just pass out. We
Oh,
laughing, but
child.
we
Forgive
want
us,
you to
Jesus.
visualize that. This is a behavior. This is a
Yeah.
behavior. This is a holiday behavior you've trained yourself to
Yeah,
do.
that's good.
You
You
trained
better
yourself that
believe
on
it.
Thanksgiving, I'm going to eat as much as I can. Okay? So, again, you have to take care of your gut. Don't abuse your gut on Thanksgiving. You know, you do it when you're stressed. Thanksgiving, these holidays, just take it easy. Don't. And I'm saying that because she said get your head in the game. So that came to me to share about Thanksgiving. This Thanksgiving, get your head in the game. You don't have to eat up everything. You can have a
Mm-mm.
regular plate. It's a regular day.
Yeah.
Can we just be thankful that we made it? Can we be thankful that we got food on the table? But
Yeah.
let's not abuse our body on
That's
Thanksgiving.
good.
I'm gonna go and pass that to Dr. Latoya.
It's good because I like when you said in the beginning, like, we're not saying that you can't have. And I think
Right.
sometimes,
Yeah.
people will immediately begin to focus on what they can't have. But, I think Dr. Sharma mentioned it before, focus on what you can have. But then, you got to pay attention to yourself. You
Right.
got to pay attention to your body. And I think I mentioned it last time. Like, if what dairy does to your body, what sugar does to your
Right.
body, what chocolate does to your body, what that fried chicken does to your body,
Mm.
so that microbiome, it begins to develop while we are babies. you know. And
Mhm.
so sometimes even culturally it makes a difference, so where you're
That's good.
located, you know, in the earth, you know, where you are, what's around you, what food you've eaten, what food your mom has eaten when she was carrying. And so sometimes you can be sensitive to certain things. Some people have a gluten sensitivity, some people
Right.
have a gluten sensitivity in the US, but they don't have it up in Europe, you know. So
Mhm.
you've got to begin to pay attention to your own body and look at what's happening when you start eating things. But I want to talk about stress for a second, because did you know that stress in itself can affect how you even metabolize food?
Oh, that's good.
Mhm.
That's
It's
good.
amazing that they done research. And so this particular article said that stress and depression not only influences food choices, but it can alter metabolic responses to food. And so they did a study on women, and what they had found is that after stressful situations, and they found with people who are in cities where they have the champion, the NFL game, right, with the Super Bowl. So
Hmm.
people
Mhm.
who, so the losing team would eat more and would gain more weight than the team who won. Or for people who didn't live in a city where they had any team, you know, it was just, you know, it may have been the Eagles, you know, versus
Right.
whoever, and they might have been, you know, in some little small town in Texas, and their team wasn't even in the playoffs, so they don't care, you know. So they looked at all that, even the people who are watching the Super Bowl, the people who were the closest,
Yeah.
i.e., the people who teams were in the
Good.
That's
actual Super
yeah.
Bowl, right?
Mhm.
Those people were affected more than the people who were just watching and who didn't, who you know, were neutral as far as who would
Right.
win. But get this, they looked at the people who have been fans for these particular teams that were in the championship game the longest, and the longer they had been fans, the more stress it put on their bodies, and the more it affected their gut health, and the more weight they gained. And so
Wow.
even stress can affect your insulin production. It affects insulin resistance. It affects different hormone levels. It affects metabolism. And so you can eat and you're not stressed, and then you can eat the same thing when you stress, and when you stress, it's going to have a different effect.
That's good.
And
That's
so
good.
That's
they
good.
also did a study on married couples. You better be careful who you're marrying.
Come
Huh.
on.
I'm trying to tell you,
She said, huh?
chronic stress. You can think about it. That joke giving you ulcers for real. Like,
Oh,
you
God.
know, you tell them you bad for my good health. Uh-uh. We ain't gonna be able to do this. Mm-mm. You bad for my guts. Bye. Like,
You
you
giving me
know,
gut stress. You confusing my gut brain.
yes. Right.
Oh gosh.
You, you
Oh my
causing my
goodness.
second brain damage. Like, go. You gotta go. So we got to learn how to minimize stress.
Oh
And
my
that means get
goodness.
out of
Mhm.
toxic relationships, whether it's,
That's
whether it's
good.
your a
That's
romantic
good.
relationship.
That's
I'm not
good.
telling you to divorce your husband. Don't be
Right.
talking about, look,
Right.
we got a
Right.
divorce because you bad for my good health. Now that's between you and Jesus. But I am saying be mindful of who you connect with, who you link
Preach
up
that.
with,
Preach
and
that.
whether that's a friend or whether it's a romantic partner. Like, you better be careful who you linking up with, because stress causes an effect on your entire body, your entire system, and it starts here and here. It starts in the head, it starts in the gut. And remember that relationship is bi-directional. So what's in your gut is going to affect your mental
Mm.
health, and your mental health is going to affect your gut. And so whenever you going through all those that stress, and it sends that distressing signal to your gut, and it start messing with the microbiome, and then that stuff
Yeah.
start leaking, and now you got your arthritis flaring up, lupus
That's
flaring up,
good.
all kind of
That's
stuff.
good.
You got diabetes. Listen, stop playing with your life. You only get
Oh, that's good.
once.
That's good.
People,
That's good.
you only live once. Lies, you die once,
Oh, oh,
and you
preach,
and you gone. You
preach.
live every
You're
day.
so
You
good.
know, you when that life is gone, it's gone. And so, and then how do you want to live here? Do you want to be going back and forth to
To
doctor's
the
appointments? I
doctors.
see people and how much money and resources they spend on prescription medications, how much they're spending on co-pays, food and doubled, you know. So we got to start looking at things differently. Like, we're not just trying to preach to you. We want you to change your life so that you can have a better quality of life, because it's not
Teach.
fun having to spend hundreds of dollars on medications when you got to choose between medication and food, because you won't get older one day.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
You know, my grandmother now is going through a lot trying to afford medications when all you have to do is change the way you eat. Some of these conditions you can reverse
Yes.
Mhm.
by
Yes.
your diet
That's
alone.
good. That's
You know,
good.
and
That's
with
good.
some exercise, but definitely with your diet. And
Mhm.
Dr. Sharmi said, you can watch. I forgot my girl. I think her name Leslie on YouTube. Well, me and Leslie gets down, baby, in the living room.
Yeah.
15-minute miles. We be in
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
getting it. I be in there, you know, trying to compete with the people she got on the show. I think she could put me on her show. I can walk. I can do it. But me and
Yeah.
Leslie be getting down in my living room. You don't have to have a gym. If you in a
That's
bad
it. I
neighborhood, if
love
you're in a
it.
neighborhood you can't walk, or sometimes people don't have sidewalks, walk in your
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
Make those small adjustments so that you can start taking control over your life and
That's
having a better
beautiful.
quality of life. And stop giving these people all your money.
Teach.
I'm
And
sorry.
and working out doesn't have to be a whole hour, 2 hours. You could do 5 minutes, get your heart rate up and relax. 10-minute workout, 5-minute workout. Long as you're moving your body, you
Yeah,
can do
walking with Leslie.
something.
They have like 15. She have 15-minute videos on YouTube, and I'm not promoting it. I'm just saying what
I
I
was getting ready to
use. You
say,
know,
tell Leslie we not
yeah,
no.
we're
No,
not. I'm just, you know,
we
that
love you,
you can
Leslie.
find. You can walk with Shaniqua if you want to, but it's
Jerome.
15-minute miles. You can, you know,
Ah,
15 minutes. You
walk
knocked
with
a mile off.
Jesus.
Come
Forget that.
on. Come on.
Just keep walking with
Jesus.
Jesus feet in your head. How about that?
Right.
No.
Yes, you can walk with Jesus too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus walks
you
with
you
me.
know I was just thinking that.
Okay, stop. All right, go ahead. I'm serious.
Yes. So I'm done, y'all.
All right. Come on,
Um,
Dr. Sherman. Close this up.
okay, so we're gonna wrap this up. But I wanted to touch on I love what Dr. Latoya was just talking about, especially when she talked about joining together with people. And I love how she said the dynamics of stress that was impacted on individuals just through the ways of connection.
Mm.
So that brought me to the word of God, and how scripture really talks to us about the people that we are connected or joined to, right? Bad company
Corrupts
corrupts
good.
good
Yeah.
morals, the Bible tells us. And so, listen, if you know that you have somebody in your life and all they like to do is eat bad stuff while you trying to do the right thing and trying to get yourself in order, learn how to say no. Just
No.
no. No, I don't want it.
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Girl, we finna go eat. No, I don't want to go.
Right.
Hmm.
That's
If,
good.
if everything we got to do is going to be circle around food while I'm trying to get my whole life in order, you may not need to be my friend this season of my life. I'm
Listen, right
serious.
there.
Like, we got to get real. Some people want to keep relationships that just destroying them.
Mm-hmm.
Learn how to
Hmm.
let them relationships go so you can fly like the eagle that God has really
Yes.
Yes.
originally created
Come
you to
on.
be.
Yes.
How many people can't get to their eagle wings? They can't do
Mm.
it because they so busy down here with pigeons
Mm,
and chickens
Ooh.
mm.
Ooh. Ooh.
everything else that just flap around on the ground. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? A chicken don't even fly its wings until it gets scared. And
Right.
you want to still be around people that ain't doing nothing. No, you have to connect yourself. I'm
No,
serious.
it's
If you
true.
if you are around, because you have to, I love when she talked about this whole dynamics of being connected. She said the fact that they was just connected to the game.
Right.
They had skin in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fact that they had been connected cause their overall stress
Mm.
levels to increase. That's some deep
That
stuff
is.
right
Hmm.
there,
That
right?
is.
But oh God, but it helps me to understand how can two walk
Together.
together
But
except
Except
they
you
they
agree.
be
agree.
agreed.
Hmm.
Right? Amos 3:3,
Come
y'all.
on.
Mm-hmm.
We can walk together except we are in agreement. So what am I saying? Disagree with those things that are a hindrance or a blockage for you.
That's
That's
good.
why I love Jesus when he told Peter, listen, you're a stumbling block to me.
Mm.
Some people and some things in your life are stumbling blocks to God's purpose.
Mm,
This is what Jesus was speaking to Peter. He wanted Peter to understand that you're trying to be a stumbling block to the purpose of God in my life. Meaning, because he said you are offense,
Mm-hmm.
right? But offense means a stumbling block. Come on, I
Mm-hmm.
just helped y'all. I just gave y'all a whole Bible study. Offense is a
true story.
stumbling block. So this is why I'm saying it's a stumbling block. I'm in my word. Y'all just didn't know
Mm-hmm.
that meant stumbling block. That's all. But yeah. And so I just need you to understand that
Mm-hmm.
people can be a stumbling block to the purpose that God has for you.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? I said what God has for you. So when it comes to your overall mental health, maybe you can't be around that group of people because they like to go out, they like to eat, they like to drink, they like to do all those things that right now, because you're trying to get your overall health in order, you can't participate
That's
in.
Mm-hmm.
so good.
So when I was on my mental wealth journey, right? I'm serious. I had to just disconnect from a whole lot of foolery because it was all foolery at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that's not producing me to walk in my purpose is nothing but foolery added to my life.
Mm,
Y'all will catch
Baby.
that one. And so, anyway, I am going to go ahead and end this out. We just want you to be well.
yes, that's all.
We want you to be well. That's our whole dynamic for you to be well. Now listen, we are in New York this Saturday
Yes.
and we are doing our live taping. Listen, who knew? Like, right? We're gonna be on Roku. We're gonna
Come
listen.
on.
We gonna have a good time in New York doing our live
I agree.
taping and our Q&A and all of that. And we're looking forward to this tour. Who would have
No.
known but God?
Mm,
That we will be going on a tour with Safe Space
I
Talks,
mean,
right? We're not claiming to be anything except for what God has called us to be.
that's it.
And that's, my God, that's to go out and really to help people to experience a different dynamic with their mental health,
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
right? The world is in a mental crisis, you ask me. You can look at it and see it. And God needed people that would not compromise their standards
Right.
in order to agree. And so, with that said, we thank you for tuning in to Safe Space Talks, and we will see you next time.